Hey, what's up, guys? I want to talk about the 7 levels of food consciousness because I think it's really important that everyone becomes aware of this. This is where we are heading as a species. We are moving up the levels of food consciousness. The first level of food consciousness is carnivore. That's the lowest level. The next level is going to be vegetarian. That's when you start thinking when you start becoming a little bit more conscious about what you put in your body. The next level is going to be vegan, all right, plant-based diet. Next level is going to be raw vegan. The next level is going to be fruitarian. The next level is going to be liquidarian. And the final level is going to be breatharian. So I don't know if you guys know this, but there is an entire event called the Breatharian World Convention held in Europe that hundreds of people go to every year, breatharians to go to share their experiences and share their stories and connect with like-minded individuals, right? There's also men like Timoshenko, I don't remember his last name. He's a Russian guy. He's gone 2.5 years without food or water in a row. He said after day 50, he stopped sleeping. He doesn't need to sleep anymore. He has so much energy. Every night, he runs 50 miles a night or 80 kilometers every single night. He runs more than a marathon every night while you're sleeping. It's because food doesn't give you energy. Everybody thinks food gives you energy, but I'm sorry, but we've been lied to. Food does not give you energy. Food takes away your energy. Digestion takes away from the body's energy. It takes energy to digest food. So let me explain. When you're running, let's say you're running, right? And you start to run out of energy to continue that run. Do you need to stop and eat something so you can continue to run? You stop and grab a cheeseburger real quick and then go for a run again? No. Why? Because it would ruin your energy. You would get even more tired after you ate something, especially a cheeseburger. Even if you ate fruit, it still takes energy to digest it. It just takes less energy to digest things that are full of water, such as fruit, right? Plus, they're full of enzymes. Enzymes help break the food down. So when you're running and you run out of energy, you need to, what we say in our culture, catch your breath. Because breath is actually what gives you energy. So you have to stop and you have to breathe for a little while. You have to breathe. That's what gives you energy. Breath is energy. Breath is what gives you life. When you die, the first thing that you lose is your breath. That's it. If you're still breathing, you're still alive. Because breath is what literally gives you your energy. It is not food. It is not food. Even God said in the Bible, Eve, don't touch the apple. What did she do? Eat the damn apple. It's in the Bible. Don't touch the apple, Eve. She ate the apple. I get it, right? I've eaten the apple too. We all have, right? But ultimately, we're in a system of control where there are entities that are more advanced than us that have basically been enslaving us, if you will. They want to control us. They want to gain power over us. And one of the ways they do that is to poison us. They poison our food, and just by giving us food is poisoning our bodies. They poison our air. They poison our water. They poison everything. They poison our products. Poison our shampoos. Poison everything, right? They're trying to slow us down to a point where we're too docile to fight back. So food does that. Food gives them a complete control mechanism where we are 100% dependent on this. I mean, they're not letting us grow the food, right? You can't grow it. You want to grow a garden in your front yard? Not going to happen, right? You want to sell food out of your garden from your home? Not going to happen. You got to go set up a business for that, right? There's all these red tape and restrictions. They don't want you. They want control over the food, is what I'm trying to say. They want control over the food. So the only way to free yourself from that control is to ascend on the levels of food consciousness. And that's not really what I'm doing this for. I am on this ascension of the levels of food consciousness. I'm not really doing it for, that's not my main reason. But it will feel good to be free from the chains of their control mechanism. I mean, imagine once you become breatharian, how much money you save every single month, like over $1,000 a month per person, just in your food bills, maybe more, depends on how much you eat, right? So that's significant. It's $12,000 a year right there, back in your pocket, So a lot of people, that's a good significant portion of their income. So ultimately, the goal should be to move up the levels of food consciousness, to go from carnivore to breatharian. Now, I understand that we have a digestive system, right? We have teeth, and we are designed to be able to eat food. And primarily, we're designed to eat fruit. We're not primarily designed to eat meat. If we were designed to eat meat, we would have claws to capture the animals. We would have a jaw and a mouth big enough to be able to kill it with our bare hands. God would have given us what we needed, or our Creator would have given us what we needed to capture the food with what we were born with. Because every other species on this entire planet, they were given all the tools that they needed to capture and consume their food within their self. They didn't have to go build a gun. They didn't have to go put on camouflage. They didn't have to go get up in a deer stand. They didn't have to go crawl on the ground with a ghillie suit on to sneak up on something. They didn't have to put scent away. You know, they didn't have to build a bow and arrow. They didn't have to build elaborate traps. Maybe a little bit. Spider builds his web, but he didn't build the web from sticks. He sprays it out of his own body, right? So we don't have the tools we need to actually be a carnivore. We are not carnivores. We are fruitarians, really, that are evolving into breatharians. So we are made to eat fruit. Our teeth are made to eat fruit. Our digestive system is made to eat fruit. So if you're going to eat food, it needs to be fruit. But ultimately, it would be wise to move up the levels of food consciousness, because you want to ultimately, hopefully, stop this reincarnation cycle and learn the lessons that need to be learned, raise your frequency to a point where you can move on to the next level, because there are levels to this game of life, right? In this, we're still at a lower level. Most of us are at a very low level on this planet. So it's just something to think about. I want you to be aware of the levels of food consciousness. I'm going to say them one more time for everybody. Carnivore is at the bottom. I used to call it omnivore, but really it's carnivore. So carnivore, vegetarian, vegan, raw vegan, fruitarian, liquidarian, which is where I'm at now, where I'm beginning at, and I'm not beginning there, where I'm beginning to be at, and breatharian is the final one. Okay, so ultimately, the lack of consumption is what's going to give us the highest vibration. It will give you the most mental clarity. It will give you the most youthful face and appearance. It will give your body the ability to rejuvenate all its cells. You're not going to get cancer. I mean, it's a complete rejuvenation process, right? I'm not saying you can't achieve very high levels of healing without it on a juice fast, like I'm doing, on an extended juice fast, or on a raw vegan diet. You certainly can, but ultimately that's not the end game. The end game is breatharianism, period. That's the end of the game, right? So, there's lots of evidence of this, right? It's not like I'm the only one talking about this. It's not like I just came up with this on my own, right? I've been following this for a long time. For 10 years, I've been thinking about this. I've been on this path to be breatharian for about 10 years. Once I understood the levels of food consciousness and I realized, oh, there's levels to this, and I'm on the lowest one. I realized this when I was a carnivore still, and I've had this strong desire in me to become a breatharian for 10 years, and I'm still not there. And I've been working my way towards it. Food is a really, really, really strong addiction, really strong. And we're also just programmed to believe that we need it and we're going to die without it. I mean, they told us in school, if you go more than 3 days without water, you're going to die. They told us if you go more than a week without food, you're going to die. That's what they taught me in elementary school. Total and utter bullshit. Total bullshit. I've been more than 3 days without water. I certainly didn't die. I actually felt fantastic. I've certainly been a lot more than a week without food too. And I felt fantastic. The less I consume, the better I feel, and the more mental clarity that I have to express it as well. So, there's a guy in India, a yogi, that has gone over 83 years without food. Now, a little ways back, I think maybe 10 years ago or so, he put himself in the hospital because people wanted to study him. They wanted to study, how does he do this? How has he been doing this for so long? And what they found is they locked him in a room. They kept somebody in there. They locked the door. They didn't allow any food and they didn't allow any water in. Made him comfortable. And they would run tests on him every single day. They would run CT scans and MRIs on him because they wanted to see what was going on inside of his body. And ultimately what they found was that he still made urine. And the urine was then reabsorbed into the liver, cleaned, and sent back into the bloodstream. So it's just a continual process. He doesn't drink water. He drinks zero fluids for that whole 10 or maybe 15 days. You can look the story up yourself. It's easy to find on YouTube. A good channel to check out for a lot of this information is called Fruitarian Paradise. Really enjoyed that channel, so thank you for the creator of it. Maybe I'll put you a link below in the comments. You know, you got to look at people that have been redefining the narrative for a long time, such as Wim Hof is a great example. This man literally climbed Mount Everest in his underwear, in his freaking underwear. I mean, think about that. Before that happened, everybody in the world, 99.999% of people would have said that's impossible. It's impossible. You're gonna fail. You're gonna die. There's 100 other bodies up on the mountain dead, fully clothed, and they're dead, bro. You're not gonna make it. What does this motherfucker do? Puts on his fucking underwear and his socks and climbs the Mount Everest and films it, documents it. I mean, he sat in ice baths for hours. He can do it. He's learned how to regulate his own body temperature. The human body is capable of more than what you think it is. Get outside of your own belief patterns, open your mind, and realize that you can break the paradigm, that you can blaze a new path. You don't have to be stuck in the old ways. You can have unlimited energy. This guy, Timanchenko, that runs 50 miles a night, has also swam across the straits for over 24 hours. He's also ran for 500 miles at a time. I mean, his goal is to show people what can happen, what is capable of, what a human is capable of in the absence of consumption. And I got to tell you, I'm going to be right there behind him, because I want to show people the same thing. Because I've known for a long time, after the first fast I did, I felt so amazing. Even though the fast was hard and I was detoxing on like day 2, day 3, day 4, I was actually sick and detoxing, but I knew I was detoxing. But then after I got done and I ate a little bit of fruit, it just, life came back to me, and I just felt amazing, felt so good. And then the more I fasted, the less I detoxed, right? I fasted a whole bunch of times. I don't even know how many times, a lot of times. But the more you fast, the better you get, the less the detox is. You know, I haven't had solid food in like, what's today, Sunday, since last Wednesday. It was the last time I had solid food. And before that, it was a good 5 days before that, I only had very, very small amounts of solid food. It's been well over 10 days since I've had only a tiny bit of solid food, but 5 and no solid food at all. And I feel fantastic today. I feel really, really good. So there's benefits to this. I'm not doing this just because I don't like food. I love food. But if there's a better way to live life, if there's a more efficient way, there's a way for me to be more efficient with my energy, and so I can have more energy and do more of the things I love, why wouldn't I move in that direction? It just makes sense. I mean, look, if I'm wrong, then I'm fucking wrong. I'll go back to eating. You know, if I get there and I'm like, and I'm not eating, and I'm not consuming, and I'm just tired and I'm sick and I don't feel good, then fuck it, I'll go back and eat. I'm open-minded to being wrong about this, but I don't think I'm wrong, guys. I don't think I'm wrong. So there's other people doing it. I've listened to these people. I think they're being genuine when they're speaking. I think they're telling the truth. The truth has a frequency to it. I can tell if someone's full of shit, and these people are not full of shit. You can listen to them for hours. You can go on Jillian Berry's channel, and she's had her channel up for, I don't know, more than 5 years, I'm guessing. I've been watching her stuff for years. And she has interviewed, I don't know how many people, more than 50, 75 people, I'm guessing, that have done extended juice fasts. Most of the people she interviews have done more than 90 days. Some people more than a year, and they're living on just juice. And you know what they say, which is unanimous across the board on her channel? I feel fantastic, guys. I have this amazing mental clarity. My body looks great. I look more youthful. My skin is tightened up. I have all this energy. It's just amazing. But then eventually they go back to living the way they were. Maybe some people don't, you know. And I understand why. It's not easy to reject all this good, delicious food every day. It's like you get pleasure from that. my body wants to go towards that dopamine hit, right? That's really what we're getting. We're getting that dopamine hit. My body wants to move in that direction. You know, it wants that dopamine. But ultimately, I know that that's not what's best for me. And ultimately, I know I will feel my best in the absence of consumption. Okay? And you will feel your best in the absence of consumption too. So I think that's all I've got for you today. I just wanted to introduce the 7 levels of food consciousness. I wanted to talk about breatharianism. If you have any comments, if you have any questions for me, leave it in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching, and have a blessed day.